What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's get into the TA. Before we start that, not a financial advisor, not financial advice. Let's get into it. All right, so we're going to start things off. Look at that. We have a bearish engulfing candlestick on the daily chart of Bitcoin after having this, what I think is a massive bull trap. You also are continuing the rally off of that declining volume. So that was something that was also taking place. All right, guys, I was telling you guys Bitcoin was going to be falling with the market. I am not going to be trading Bitcoin. I will be buying back into Mara. I am not in Mara, but I had sold Mara somewhere up here. I know I'm pretty sure it was actually on this top. No, never mind. I think it was on this. I don't know where it was, actually, now that I think about it. I know it was one of the days right before we fell off. So it was either that day or that day. Or maybe it was in here in pre-market. I don't know. Or maybe over here in pre-market. I have no idea. All right. But I sold. I'm going to be buying back in at 350 and then at 250 down there, which is just the support down here. And if we come back down to Bitcoin lows, I do think that means Mara is going to come back to that 350 level. So if we come back down to like 16K around here, 15.5, 16K. That's where you're going to see 350 Mara. I think if you come down into this zone, though, that's where I think we get the best possible price on Mara, and it falls to 2 to 2.5. That's what I'm going to be playing. All right. So with that being said, and out of the way, let's get into the TA. We're going to go over, actually, we're going to start off with the weekly chart, but then we're going to go over the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour. Then we're going to talk about the 4 scenarios I see going into FOMC. I actually did just record this video, but it turned into being an hour and 10-minute video. That's why you hear me talking so fast right here. I'm just trying to get through it. I talked a lot, like a lot of info was covered in there. We have to do that in not an hour. Okay, we're going to try and do this in half an hour because, all right, no one wants to watch an hour-long video. Well, maybe you guys do. I don't know. I would if I enjoyed the content. Maybe you guys are enjoying it. Maybe you guys are here just for the info. I have no idea. But if you're here just for the info, I'm trying to do this for you, okay? I'm here for you. All right, so start off with the weekly time frame. I want to point out that we currently do have our stochastic crossing down on SPY and QQ. Obviously, SPX, because that's just SPY times 10. All right. But yeah, you do have your QQ stochastic not quite crossing down yet, but SPY's is crossing down. So that is something to be noted. All right. We had a false cross down over here, and then you end up making that new high. That's when you're first getting rejected here at this trend line, and you end up making a new high. Well, now you are even deeper in extremes. Pretty similar spot to where you were at over here. Over here, we sold off over here. All right. And that's generally just what this is correlated with. This is where you are going to be getting these sell-offs when you're crossing. That was sloppy right there. Getting these sell-offs when you are crossing down from your extremes. All right, you're going to get these rather explosive sell-offs. And yeah, that is what I think we have in store for us here. All right. So now that we went over that, let's actually look at something that happened on Mr. VIX. Okay. So Mr. VIX does have its CCI crossing up over through overbought territory here through the buy line, the buy momentum line. And I did call this out. We do have the bullish divergence that formed ever so slight, but we had the low here was 1797. The low here was 1801. So ever so slight, but we did form the bullish divergence here on the weekly time frame on the RSI and the CCI and the stochastic here. Now looking at that too. But something I want to point out is, and I'm gonna get this out of the way before we go further into the video and cover all the technicals that are going on today. So I'm sorry if you have seen this like 2 or 3 times now, all right, or like a lot of times, because you have been here, covering the charts here with us on the channel. All right, I'm sorry, all right, but for anybody new, which like most of the viewers coming to each video, they are new people, so I gotta explain this stuff or no one's gonna get it. We have the bottom marker getting put in, which is literally just, I call it the bottom marker, all right? I'm sure nobody else calls it the bottom marker, but I call it the bottom marker, which is here on the VIX, and if you're marking the bottom on the VIX, you're marking the top on SPX. All right, the way this works that I have seen it work, all right, going back throughout the bear market, is every time this gets put in, it marks that this week that it forms is the top week on SPX, or it is the following week on SPX. All right, or it was the week before on SPX. But all in all, it's within 1 week of that, the week it forms. All right, well, come over here to SPX. All right, and if this top holds, then hey, we have this pattern holding yet again. All right, now I will point out right here. All right, you formed one right here. All right, it was right here. and that was December 27, the week of December 27. You come over to QQQ, or not QQQ, on SPX, and you were literally down here, okay? You had already fallen a decent amount right there. You had fallen over $30. You were getting buying pressure stepping in, and keep in mind, you were also falling off declining volume. So, the sellers are getting weaker, all right? So, the selling pressure is letting up. And keep in mind, all right, that wasn't the trend line. I didn't show you guys, but let's just look at the dates from the other one so we can look at this right here. So we had one right here, and one right here, and one right here. These are the ones that appeared in the bear market. So January 3rd, all right, remember these dates, January 3rd, April 4th, and we have August 15th. You come over here to SPX, all right, what do we got right here? January 3rd. All right, I believe it's the one after, so that's what I was saying. All right, so you got the April 4th, and what do we have right here? We have August 15th, okay? The one that formed over here was not done at the trend line, all right? And I understand we slightly overthrew the trend line here, all right? You even had the weekly close above it, all right? I do think that is just serving as the biggest bull trap they've had this whole market, this whole bear market, all right, before they send this bad boy down, okay, guys? Every time we've gotten this set up, we have had... it is marked a top on SPX, all right? Now, what do we have? Okay, we have the bottom marker getting put on VIX, okay? It didn't get nullified, okay? And how this pattern would get nullified is you have a close underneath the close of this candlestick right here, all right? The body of that candle. All right, you did have the close over here this week. You nullified it, all right? But you did not have a close under there this time around, all right? So the pattern is still in play. I do think it is going to hold like we have seen it hold in the past throughout this bear market, all right? Looking back, I'm going to be honest, I have not looked at all of this. I have not, all right? But we're in a bear market right now, so I think the charts are, they're not going to mimic, okay? They're not going to completely just mimic what has happened throughout the, past bear market history, right? But they should rhyme, all right? Things never... What is it saying? I just completely blanked on that saying. Things don't... They never copy themselves. History never repeats itself, but it often rhymes. That's the saying. All right. And maybe that's a paraphrase of the saying. Not sure. But either way, so you have that on the VIX. Now, something else I was calling out, and I know it may be annoying, but hey, you guys know for a fact I called this thing out. You guys have been with me since we had this first day of spike on the VIX. You guys know for a fact. I know for a fact I said I'm skeptical on this sell-off on SPX. And if you look, so that was Tuesday 17th. Okay. You have SPX this day right here. So it was this day that I was saying I was skeptical. By this day came around and somehow I forgot about it. Right? Somehow we had the bullish engulfing candlestick. There was that. And we did end up having that, but then you got that rejection there. All right. But I was skeptical of the sell-off that started on SPY strictly because VIX did not form the bullish divergence that it had formed at 5 out of 6 of the bottoms that ran 100% throughout the bear market, all right? So we're going to go back to January. And again, I'm sorry if you've been seeing this, okay? But again, this is relevant information to anybody who is new to the channel, okay? So we're just going to look at these, okay? Now, this is the only time it didn't pop up. Look at your CCI down here. It's the only time the CCI didn't get into oversold territory. But every time it got into oversold territory throughout this bear market, you formed that bullish divergence before taking off, all right? So the fact that we didn't have it showed me that, hey, the probability is that we still are probably going to go up on SPY and make a new high and form that bullish divergence here, all right? So you didn't have it there. You had it here, all right? You come over here. You had it there. All right, there was your bottom there. You had it right there. All right, there was it right there. You come over here. You have it right there. You have it right there. That was literally your bottom when you started hinging up. So you would have known about it on this day right there if you're looking in. All right, and what do we have going on over here? All right, we did have, all right, we had another one right there get put in right there. All right, and then what do you have over here? We did not form one, okay? We did not form the bullish freaking divergence, all right, until that day, okay? Until Friday, we did not form it, but I've been calling out one since that first day that VIX had gone up. And, yeah, pretty much came up from the trend line. That is now the trend line of this, from over here, right? It formed this bottom trend line of the falling wedge here. All right, but yeah, guys, this is just like your boy, guys. Your boy has a lot to work on in terms of patience. All right, your boy's charting abilities, they're there. Okay, we are increasingly seeing the proof of concept in the technical analysis covered here on the channel. But what do I have to heavily work on? My patience. Okay, that's why I put together a top checklist. I'm sorry, guys, I cannot share that top checklist, but if you guys are following along with the TA covered here on the channel, just know that it will go along with that top checklist. All right, right now, everything that I could find on the chart that's been at every other top, all right, throughout the bear market, it's on there. The boxes are checked. All right, so there you go. All right, so just know that my top checklist is all boxes checked. All right, there will be a bottom checklist. I can't say it's put together right now. It doesn't even exist right now, but we have the top one, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty easy to form that bottom one as well. And that is going to be how your boy makes sure that he is not FOMOing his butt off towards these peaks anymore, okay? Because you know what, all right? Like if we have things, if the checklist, and this is also a way to find out if I'm on the opposite side of the trade, okay? If I'm with the crowd, if we have 8 out of 10 things on this checklist that is like checked, okay? And there's not 10 things. There are less than 10 things. But if we have, just for example, 8 out of 10 things on that checklist, if they are checked, all right, and I am bullish, okay? If I'm bullish and the top checklist is 8 out of 10 checked, there you go. I have reason to believe that I am completely betting with the crowd right now. All right, so, and like even if there's 5 out of 10 things, even, again, there's not 10 things. But yeah, if there are half of the things checked, there you go. Then you also have like reason to not be betting with the crowd right here, or at least like, hey, you know, things should be fizzling out. There will be a bottom checklist. I don't have it yet, all right, but it will be there, so I should know. And again, I'm sure like some of the patterns that are at the bottom is like we're not going to have some of these VIX factors here are not going to, they're not going to be working to our advantage there. I will not have them telling us where the bottom is going to be formed on SPX. Something I have also known to see is you do form the bearish divergences here on the 4-hour time frames that start calling the peak on VIX. Like these peaks on VIX don't form, is what I'm getting at. They don't form without the 4-hour bearish divergence. So if they're not there, then you know, we should have reason to be skeptic that VIX is still going to keep exploding. Now, guys, if we do end up falling into the end of the day, it's 2:48 p.m. today. If we do end up completely falling off a cliff here, all right, into the end of the day, and closing out the way, I do think VIX is probably going to break out of this thing right here. It's going to have a close above it, and that is where I would be expecting it to go on a decent bit of a run here, all right? And then I would expect tomorrow to be a backtest day. But we're going to go over the scenarios that I see playing out, and then we're going to go over the probable scenario, which I actually covered in the last video, but the last video turned out being an hour and like 10 minutes long, and I was like, wait a minute, no one's going to see this by the time market closes, so it's not going to matter anyway. All right. I mean, not that it doesn't matter anyway. I know there's a lot of people who see these videos after hours, but a lot of people have notifications on. I could see it because there's just likes that come in right away. People, they have the notifications on. They want to see the info before they make a decision at the end of the day. And again, not financial advice, guys. But yeah, I just know that I get you. Okay. I'm literally here for you. Okay. I'm like doing this so I never have to work again. All right. That is technically, that is the main reason for this channel. All right. Is like, and it all works together, okay? This will create a form of income, whether that be YouTube ad revenue, or whether I do donations, whether it's a subscription years out in the future. I have no idea. But that will be there. But also, like, and this is why I say, like, they all come together. Me putting out these videos each day gives me reps, guys. I get reps under my belt for technical analysis, and it makes sure that I get those reps each and every day, completely analyzing a new chart. Like it's the same chart, but it has new components on it. And yeah, we can think in hindsight, but I'm forced to think on the spot every single day in these videos, and also my written updates. So I have 2 reps a day. All right. So 6 days of the week, I have 2 reps. All right. So, well, I don't put out a written update on Friday, so that's that. Speaking of written updates, guys, if you do want to, like, you got the video updates that I'll be releasing before 3:30 each day, just so everybody has time to watch a 30-minute video, 20 or 30-minute video, which however long it takes. Right now we're at 14 minutes, 15 minutes. All right, hopefully we get done by the 30-minute mark. I think we will. We've covered a lot of what I covered in the other video, much quicker here. Obviously, there's a lot less detail, but I'm trying to talk fast here. All right, I'm trying to just make it so it's not an hour-long video. Yeah, all right. I forgot what I was just saying. All right, we're gonna get back into the TA. Oh, written updates, guys. If you do want to also not only have video updates before market close each day, sometimes not before market close, but most of the time before market close, so people have time to watch these before that, and then you know exactly what the TA is suggesting. All right. What the charts are suggesting. This is my TA, and I'm just reading the charts. So this is my version of the charts. Okay, this is my version of a language. Okay, there's English, there's Japanese, there is all these other languages, and that's how I see like someone reading a chart. That's how it is. All right, so that guy has a completely different language for reading the charts than I'm using. All right, so maybe that guy's speaking in French. I'm not. All right, so if you guys do like my German here, I am German. All right, I'm a little German, a little Polish too, a little Irish. I'm a little of everything. A little Native American. I think we did the whatever the thing is where you could send in your sample, and then they end up ancestry.com. I think I was the Iroquois tribe, a little Iroquois. I don't know if that's like the term for it, but whatever. All right, so getting back into it, guys. If you guys do want written updates, those are over there. You can have my trade ideas over there on Twitter. I'm not going to hold your hand, but guaranteed I will give you guys valid trade ideas over there consistently. All right. I'm constantly watching the charts. All right. If you are not constantly watching the charts and just want, you want to be alerted when there is something going on in the charts that you can play. All right. Again, you're going to need your own risk management, but if you want the trade idea, 100% is there. And what also comes along with the trade idea, you get the exact options that I will be playing, all right? Or am thinking of playing or like getting ready for. All right, so if you do want those, that's also over there. Now, the biggest benefit of over there is honestly on-the-spot TA, guys. I will be posting all of my on-the-spot TA to Twitter as well, all right? So if you do want to get my trade ideas in on-the-spot TA and just like retweets of what I think is like valid, all right? I will not be posting. I actually, up until yesterday, I didn't know you guys got notifications for my retweets, so I'm sorry anybody who's already over there. All right, there's like 350 people. I'm sorry you've been getting so many retweets. I did not know you guys were getting notifications on that. I thought it was only my tweets. Now that I know that I will not be retweeting any personal development and stuff like that, I will just be liking that stuff. I obviously am into that stuff. I think I'm a genuinely positive guy. I don't like being around negativity. I think it's literally something that's holding me back. You are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. All right, guys, I expose myself to thousands and thousands of people here on YouTube, and it will only grow larger. So in the end, like if I really am just like, yeah, I mean, haters, like you're toxic. All right, I don't want anything to do with you. If you see me arguing with any haters, like, yeah, it's because someone got under my skin and I want to provide an answer, all right? Because if I just block you and delete your comment, then I feel like that makes me seem weak. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I guess it doesn't even matter because the goal is I'm trying to just, create this positive community who will just continuously grow together. Like, obviously, this is my journey as a trader here on the channel, right? My journey as a trader and a chartist. But at the end of the day, yeah, no, I want a community of like-minded individuals who are all on their way to and working on their way, all right? Not just like thinking they are. We are doing things, okay? There are things being done here on this channel that ensure, at least for myself, that ensure I go by 2 years, and guys, I'm like, with all likelihood, I will be rich. Even if I had no money right now, if I just, like, I mean, if I just keep building up the skill set, with all likelihood in 2 years, I will probably be rich, all right? And your version of rich could be whatever you want, okay? I would probably consider it if I had $1 million, I will be rich, okay? If I had $10 million, I think I would consider myself, that's where I would start with wealth, because that is, I want to have $10 million minimum by the age of 30. That has been my goal for the past, like, 2 years, all right? I started with real estate, and, well, I didn't start getting into real estate. I did go to a decent amount of FISBOs and check them out, though. I was getting ready for it. I was saving up and for my first down payment. Now, little did I know is I could have done that and then saw the housing market go on an absolute tear. But then I started getting into the stock market. I started seeing things. I was like, holy crap, dude. Like this, if you get the skill set down, this is where money can actually be made so much quicker than real estate. All right. So that's when I got addicted to the stocks. Okay. And I got addicted to options pretty early on because it was in the meme stock era where GME was only going to like AMC went to like $20 or something like that, or something big. And BlackBerry was going, and all these other ones. And I remember I played BlackBerry and some other ones, and I got these crazy gains. It's crazy, like 500%, 1000%. SOS, we got like a 1600%. I was addicted to options. All right, little did I know there was a lot more to be learned about options and how to successfully trade them. All right, so enough about me. Let's get back into the charts, all right? Because again, we are trying to finish out by 20 or 30 minutes here. You do have your CCI hinged up here. You have that going on here. And you have your RSI trend line holding that I put on literally over here. I didn't know when it was going to come into play, but I read something in one of Bukowski's books that told me that trend lines on RSI, like patterns and trend lines, get respected on the RSI just like they do with price. All right, so that is something I found to be true this time around. All right, we respect it twice, guys. So moving forward, we will be doing this. All right, and if you're wondering where the heck my TA came from, guys, and you're wondering why it's so random and there's so many different random, yeah, I mean, I understand it looks silly, but at the end of the day, this is exactly what I have found to work over the last, like, I don't know how long it's been, but 2 years. Put together in your mind, when was the meme stock era? All right, let's just go over to what is it, BB? All right, when did this is when I pretty much, I'm not gonna say I first got into market because I was considering myself an investor before that. Was it this? I don't know. Let's look at SOS. All right, that's a better, I know for a fact it was then. I don't know which spike it was on BlackBerry that got me addicted. SOS. All right, so SOS. Where was it? Was it this massive? No, dude. Oh, they had splits. They had splits. So it was back here. Guys, right here, February 2021, this is when I got addicted to options. Up until that point, I was literally trying to become an investor, and I thought that was the only way. And then I discovered the way, and I saw, like, holy crap, I'm lying to myself. I'm literally lying to myself by believing what the vast majority of people tell themselves, which is the best way to beat the market is to just dollar cost average. I say the best way to beat the market is to learn how to trade. All right, to learn how to see cycles playing out in real time, and that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to show everyone here on this on this channel and in these videos. All right, but look at that. All right, so let's quickly go over the 4 hour and 1 hour time frame because I think we covered the daily. All right. But you still have that bearish divergence going on SPX, which is SPY. All right, so SPY and QQ, they still have the bearish divergence. Something I actually noticed that I've been falsely calling out a triple bearish divergence. If you look here, over here on your CCI, this is at 158.67. This is at 159.05. So technically, we actually only have just a single bearish divergence here on QQQ. I thought it was a bigger one. It's not, but you also have the same bearish divergence going on SPY, and you're coming down from there. All right, now coming into the, and again, you have the bullish divergence on the VIX. So we have the exact opposite. Excuse me. I don't even know what there was a little hiccup there. I guess it's because I'm talking too fast and bringing too much air in. That's probably what's taking place right now. But yeah, you come over to VIX. We literally just got the thing that I was saying, like, hey, every time VIX is CCI, it's... Jesus, talking way too quick. I gotta drink some water. Hang on, guys. Let me recover here. All right. We're good. We're all good. We're all... Jesus. All right. Choking over here. Talking too fast. All right. And as you can see, like, hey, every time the CCI got into oversold territory here on the daily time frame, you formed that bullish divergence before taking off in the VIX. All right. That's like why I had a very, very strong feeling here that we were not going to end up taking off on the VIX before that happened. Do the math on that, all right? You got, I think it's 83%, divide 5 by 6. That's every time VIX ran about 100%, all right, it formed that bullish divergence, all right? Well, actually, this one was not about 123 to 35. But either way, every time besides this over here where your CCI didn't get into oversold territory, it was that, all right? So if you're not including this, because it never got into oversold territory, then the trend has 100% probability of playing out, because it's happened 5 out of 5 times the CCIs came into oversold territory. All right. But I was looking at it as 5 out of 6 times. So either way, you had an extremely high probability of that playing out. All right. And that also paired with the bottom market that we discussed at the beginning of the video is there. Something actually, let's finish going over the 4 on 1 hour, and then I'm going to show you guys something that I showed you guys in the weekly update. But if anybody's new here, I want you guys to see this, just so you know. No one, like, any comment down below, if you're like pretty much telling me that I'm about to lose like all my money and do that, and you're a permabull and you're clearly a permabull, I know you just didn't watch the video, and that's why I'm doing this. All right. But also, if anybody's new, which like most of the people on these, most of the views in these videos are new people, so I want to let you guys know the information that we're going off of here. You come over here to we're just going to flip that, and we're just going to have VIX up there. We'll have SPX up here. We will take away that. We'll take away that. Over here, you see these lines, right? These lines match up with each other, okay? Hang on, baby. Hang on. Daddy's almost done with the video, and we can, I don't know, we can go outside or something. We did just go the trail, so they shouldn't have too much energy right now, but then they ate a chicken foot, so they should be cooling off. Definitely be cooling off. Hang on. Let me just... That's what's going on. It's the weekly time frame. I was trying to talk and do things at the same time, and that is why multitasking, guys, most of the time does not end up going too well. All right. Is that... it's so close to being paired. Come on. What am I doing? Is it right there? All right. That's almost exact. All right. It's almost exact. Hopefully it's on red. All right. So it's on red. So we're going to start off with the tops on SPY. All right. Top and major tops, okay? I don't care about these little sissy tops like this one right here, even though VIX still came down for it. Top, I'm calling this a top. I'm calling that a top, right? Now, where is your VIX? VIX down here. I'm sorry, baby. Hang on. All right, come over here. VIX was down here. Come over here to that top, which is literally right here. VIX is down here. More, and you know what? We can use this top as well. All right, because look at that. VIX again started declining. All right, that's how you would have known, like, hey, all right, you're up here. This is where you should be. This is where you should start getting nervous. Right now is not where you should start getting nervous. This is where you should start getting nervous about being long. You should have started getting nervous quite a long time ago, but now it definitely should. You got that over there. All right, I guess we call this a top right here too, but you got that right there. All right, and you come over to this top right here. Oh, VIX was down here. This was like right around 20. All right, guys. So those are your red circles. Jesus. All right. Those are the times when SPX has topped. All right. Now let's do something better. Bottom. 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 All right. Starting with over here. VIX was spiking up here, and I'm guessing this is actually the day your bottom was put in there, and yes, it was. VIX spiked up to 38, almost $40. What do you got over here, guys? What do you got, like, literally right here? So you had this mini rip before getting that bigger move down right there. Or, no, I think you actually held your low. But either way, you saw VIX spike on that day right there. All right, this is a day to start getting skeptical when VIX is up here towards, we'll say, above 35, all right? Right here, all right? That was right here, all right? Where was your next bottom put in? VIX was up here, all right? Where was your next bottom put in? VIX was up here, all right? Where's your next bottom? All right, you had this temporary bottom that gave you, like, I think it's a $24 move on SPY there. All right, well, guess what, guys? The $24 move came from a spike right up to 35. Literally right up to 35, all right? Guess what? The second one right here, which was the bottom, where are you? You're up near 35 on VIX. All right, guess what, guys? You did have this down here. All right, looking at it, I guess we can't really call it a bottom. All right, we're going to take that one out. All right, we're taking that one out. But this is what I was saying. This was a counter trend move. We didn't have things suggesting you're about to have this massive rip here. You had things suggesting that you were going to have an explosive counter trend move. Yes, all right, but the fact that the weekly time frames didn't cycle back down on their oscillator showed me that, hey, guys, no, this is still that counter trend move that we were talking about over here in consolidation. This is still it. Nothing has changed because the weekly oscillators would not be here as you were approaching a trend line there on QQQ. All right. Maybe you're approaching a trend line on DIA. No, DIA broke out and literally flipped it. There's that IWM, same thing, right when you're here, right? You're not going to see this massive rip take place in a bear market when you're right here, okay? You can, okay, let me actually, now that we've gone over what we just did, and I hope, guys, after seeing that, like, it's very freaking obvious what's going on right now. All right, no one should be looking for a rip, a prolonged rip to happen here. All right, what was I just saying, okay? What was I just saying? I don't even remember. All right, moving on, guys. We're at 29 minutes. Let's go over my likely scenarios, all right? We didn't go over the 4 hour, 1 hour, but we will work that into this, okay? So come over here to SPY. So we're going to use SPY for this, not QQQ. So we actually are getting this bounce right here. And keep in mind, on your 4 hour oscillators, you are not even close to, you know, being at least down here where you bounced last time. You're not even close to it, all right? You can get a decent sized move here, okay? We can have this. You saw it go from 393 all the way up to a high of 408. So I guess there was a decent sized bounce. That happened from your RSI and CACI being exactly where they are right now. So it can happen, but you already gave up on the hourly time frame. This is a small head and shoulders pattern that was formed by, I like my red. Let me bring back the red. Let me actually bring orange. That's a bit of a neutral color right there. Right there. All right, let's bring it back down there. All right. So while I was recording the last video, SPY was literally here. It was this candlestick right here, and that's what I was saying. It took over an hour. I can't put out that video. Can't do it. All right. It's not like it's a weekly report or anything. All right. I don't want to waste everyone's time. All right. I want to get straight into the point here. All right. You broke down from there. So one of the scenarios was you bounced from here, and you end up coming back either bounce, like rejecting off of this. So this right here was a gap fill, not on the daily time frame, but if you look on the hourly time frame, SPY and SPX did have these. SPY ended up going back to fill it. SPX never filled it. Hi, baby. But yeah, you actually did end up going back and filling that. And I was actually talking to my friend this morning. It was right down here. I put it on my thing. As you see, it literally has that touch point right there. And I was saying that and you're down here, it does look like a head and shoulders is forming, and I wouldn't be surprised if you go back up and you reject off of the gap fill, and that forms the right shoulder. What do we have, guys? We had this forming the right shoulder, all right? And now you're getting that breakdown. So in the last video, I said this was the probable scenario. So I'm going to start with that. You break down from this head and shoulders that brings you down to this trend line, all right? Both trend lines, the intersection. Now, it doesn't have to be that. You're wondering why this 403 is on there. That's because it's the low over here. All right, so we're going to have to see if you bounce here. Now, this is where QQQ comes in. All right, by the time SPY gets down to the 400 level, since QQQ is tech, I imagine it's probably going to sell off a little more. QQQ just might get down to this range right here. Okay, so maybe we do end up seeing. So this is something I posted on my Twitter earlier this morning. I said I was not looking for a bounce, or I was looking for a bounce off of these. Off the gap fill / trend line support here. All right. So again, another example, like, hey, this is an example of my on the spot TA. All right. If you had seen that, maybe you would have known the likelihood is that we end up continuing this fall until that range. Okay. Or until these, not range, but these two levels. All right. Which could align with SPY coming down here. Okay. It could also align with SPY coming down here, but that would mean it's selling off a lot more than QQQ. All right. So I think SPY is probably going to hold this. And now we have this. Well, no, it wouldn't be that. So it'd be this, and then it would be this. I don't know if you're going to get a bounce. I don't know if a head and shoulders is even going to form here. I have no idea. But if you do get this support holding right here, your last line of support until you come down to these trend line supports, all right, then we should get that bounce here that creates the head and shoulders, the right shoulder, which again will just be another version of what we already saw form today on the hourly time frame. Then it happened, like, it literally just played out. All right, you had your hourly close. Now I understand you guys weren't here in the last video when I was going over these scenarios before the probable one already started playing out. But the probable scenario was that SPY ended up breaking down past this trend line that is the head and shoulders that formed from this touch point this morning. And then we would either be falling here or we would fall to the 200 MA. All right. I don't think you end up making it down here because I think QQ is probably going to end up bouncing here. All right. I think with all likelihood, that's probably going to provide a reversal to the upside. If you come over the daily time frame, you can see this was formed, I think, on Thursday. Yeah, so on Thursday. SPYs we ended up filling. That's why it's not on there, but you came down here on SPY, filled that. All right. QQ never did. All right. So I think that is probably going to provide a bounce spot going into FOMC. And I think it's likely bounce going into FOMC because if you fall going into FOMC and you get your momentum oscillators all the way back down here, say so your daily CCI somehow gets down here, all right, and you get your 4-hour oscillators down here, then I would say it's extremely likely that FOMC gives you a pop. Okay, it gives you a pop, and that's going to put your high in, and then there you go. Or it doesn't put the high in, and it just, like, we just make a lower high. But that would only be if we fall for these next 2 days, all right? If we fall, or not next 2, but tomorrow, all right? If we don't get that bounce tomorrow, I think we're going to keep falling into tomorrow. I don't think the bounce comes just yet. Yeah, let me just finish going over these scenarios, all right? Let me go over this, all right? Because it'll make sense after that. All right, so you broke down on the hourly time frame from that head and shoulders. You had the hourly close underneath it the last hour. So now you know if you're going to put a target on this thing, all right? If you want, I don't know, like this isn't really an objective. Oh, look at that. It brings you right down here, guys. I don't know if that's going to work. And I say it's not really an objective target because it's not me using the patternsite.com and using the percentages with it or anything like that. But either way, it's just a little pattern right here. If you were to draw it like that, that's where it would be going. There's that. All right. But yeah, this is the problem scenario. You broke down from here, and now you end up coming down on QQQ. And you bounce somewhere in this range. I don't know where it's going to happen. Maybe you come a little further and it holds it with a wick. But this is literally your trend line right here, which if you're wondering where this top trend line came in, all right, this one right here, if you're wondering where that came from, you could just, if you're on TradingView and you're on a PC like me, you can hit Control and then right click, all right, and you can literally drag it. And you just drag any one of these trend lines and boom, you pair it with this touch point down here. All right, and this touch point right there, and there you go. All right, it literally stopped the rally the other day. I wish I saw this before. I didn't see this before. This is something I put on my chart this morning. All right, but now it's there. So now if we do rally back up, that's a trend line I will be watching. I don't think we do end up rallying back up. But yeah, this is that. Okay, and hey, another head and shoulders possibly if we do. Holy crap! Holy crap! If SPY bounces here and QQQ bounces here, like what I was saying this morning, all right? Then you get the bounce there, and you have one big head and shoulders pattern here on QQQ. You have one small head and shoulders pattern here on SPY. Only if you do end up coming down there and holding it, and then bouncing off that. But hey, guys, this is an example of how TA all comes together. It all works together. I love seeing it. All right. But yeah, guys, I do think you are probably going to end up continuing back down to QQQ. All right. And you come back down, fill that gap, and you get your bounce off that gap plus trend line here. Probably correlates with here. Could correlate with this 200 MA here, like you did bounce directly off of right there. You had this touch point right there. All right. 200 MA on the hourly chart. I guess it's respected. All right. Respected right here. You got that little bounce. Respected right here. All right. This little chip chop around it. All right, so it could be a level that is respected there. All right, but either way, that is the probable scenario. And then you end up rallying into FOMC. You end up rallying off of a 0.25% hike, so 25 basis point hike. And then the FOMC presser at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday ends up bringing it down. Okay, so that's scenario number one. I think I give that the most probability. I'd say that is the most probable scenario. I was saying that before we actually broke down here, and now we did break down here. So I guess now I don't have the least likely scenario was that we held here. Last video, the least likely scenario was we held here, and this had two parts. It's either you come back here and you reject off here and you form like you have two right shoulders here. Or they end up squeezing you into FOMC. I gave you yeah, it can happen. We've seen this thing can just do that. All right. But again, technicals are going to respect each other here, then we're probably not going to see that play out. All right. So that was the least likely scenario there. Clearly we didn't end up holding that. We're not getting that bounce. All right. You could start bouncing going up there, but still least likelihood. All right. So third scenario here. All right. Which I guess that second one wasn't even in there. I'd still say the most probable scenario is probably going to play out. That you fall into FOMC. That you just literally keep falling into FOMC, and that would bring you Where's Feb? There's Feb 1st. All right. Over here, 2 o'clock, right here. All right. That's like, again, this is along the lines of the least likely scenario here. You're probably not just going to fall into FOMC. And if you do fall straight into FOMC, guys, I would be taking a lot of those freaking profits off the table there. You're going to have FOMC there. So then, like, you know, if you're falling into it, guys, charts predict the news. So, like, you know, like if we're doing that, and hey, I give it a solid odds there that you do rally off of FOMC. And you do have Apple earnings. Then I would also say, like, hey, those are in the air. But if our daily oscillators and 4-hour CCI is down here with a bullish divergence somehow, all right, if that takes place, then, like, you know, if your daily CCI is down here, or even close to down here, and you have FOMC, I would have to assume that you're probably going to rally off that. It's going to bring you back up. All right. It's something I wouldn't want to admit, but it's something that 100%, that is how I would be looking at it. Look at how far QQ is going down right now. Look at some money. Hang on. Let me feel good here. Oh, look at that. We're up. Oh, look at that. Up a whole ass 2% on my Feb 17s. All right. Right now, also up a little on the March 3rds. March 3rds actually didn't die. They weren't nearly as volatile as the Feb 17s. That's something I noticed. But like, obviously, if you understand how options work, then you know that's just how it's going to be. But either way, guys, I do think, this is what I'm doing to pretty much make it out alive out of this this scenario that I got myself into over here. But this is what I say, guys. You take my trades, you're going to lose all your money. I take all my trades, I'm going to get rich, all right? In the end, I'm going to do exactly what I need to do to get by, all right, and thrive. And this is what I felt I needed to do, all right? I have traded them over this move up, all right? And I have re-entered with more date, all right? More date to catch the move, all right? Because, guys, if you have the 380, look at it this way, all right? Feb 3rds, like there was a comment, all right? And I think the person deleted the comment, but there was a comment saying, like, hey, in your opinion, still SPY will be under 380 by Feb 3rd. I'm going to take you through my thought process here, all right? First of all, I would not have even mentioned that I was getting different dates if I thought that was going to happen. I'm just saying, I just would not have switched myself, all right? And the fact that I announced that I switched myself, that really shows it, all right? But right off the bat, so there's there, but look at it this way, all right? Let's say you're at 400 on FOMC. So this is my exact thought, and this is what I was... yeah, when you're mentally battling with yourself, you got to make a tough decision. You got to make that tough decision. You got to mentally battle, all right? But this was my mental battle. Guys, all right, you're Feb 1st. You're at $400, all right? There, you now have the 380 contracts, Feb 3rd puts, that are going to be worth, like, pennies. Like, again, like, you had time to get out when they weren't pennies, and then you could have cycled out like I did and did that. And I'm not saying, like, I didn't tell anybody about this until, like, the video. But this is why I say, like, guys, you need your own risk management. Micah, please. Oh, you're wrestling. Okay, you guys can wrestle. Sorry, baby. Thought she was whining at me. I was like, what? Crazy? Crazy woman? Crazy lady, my baby. Crazy lady, baby, my baby. Look at that, though. You do have the bullish divergence forming on the RSI, do you? It's 38.62 there. No, you don't. All right, it's nullified. You do on the CCI, though, so that is a thing. You now are forming the bullish divergence on the CCI. Is it going to hold as you fall into this level right here? I think it probably will. If it does, I will be taking some off of the table just so I can re-add for the most probable scenario, which I think you bounce here, you bounce here. They bring you back up. You probably don't make it all the way back up there. If you fall into like, you could stop falling today, but I think it's likely to fall into Tuesday, and that's why I said maybe it's here, maybe it's here, maybe it's here, all right? Because that's that. And if you do bounce it, it does set you up for the head and shoulders, and we're seeing so many head and shoulders pop up, I just wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, guys, I mean, I'm not gonna hold your hand through the trades. I'll hold your hand through the charting. All right, I'll be here each and every day for you guys. Obviously, I'll be talking about what I'm doing with my own trades in these videos, but you're gonna hear them when it's in my videos. I'm not gonna be sitting there telling you guys how I'm exiting and buying back and exiting and buying back, and there's no point to doing that. I would not be a winner in that situation. I promise I would frustrate the crap out of everyone if I did so. You guys are going to be on your own in terms of managing your trades, all right? But my trade ideas, they will be on Twitter, all right? So you get all my trade ideas and on the spot TA on Twitter. And then if you want the written updates, Facebook and Webull. Trader Henry J is the handle on everything. All right, so there's that. And then obviously weekly videos here. All right, guys, so I'm going to finishing up. I think we went over the 3 scenarios. You had one where you just literally, they squeeze you in here. Or I guess also they squeeze you back up to this level here. And then you come back down. Then you break that. But so that was one. Obviously, we didn't hold this. All right, so I think that's off the table here. But then you bounce here, and you come back up to this level. All right, and I think this is this is the most probable scenario. You don't have to bounce here. I think it's going to correlate with QQ being at 288. So whenever I see QQ at 288.36, closing that gap, it's probably going to come down, touch that trend line. It's probably where SPY is going to be, probably actually at this, all right? It's probably going to be at the 200 MA, all right? That is what I think is the most probable scenario. And then you end up having something like that, where you rally. Let's just look. You rally into Wednesday. I know you're going super high up there. I don't think that would be the case. I think you'd something like that, all right? And now it's 10 o'clock. There's 11 o'clock. Maybe you tank here on... like look down here where I'm looking. Maybe you tank here off of, because at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, that's when they're going to be announcing the rate hike. So if it's 0.50, guys, we're going to get one hell of a sell-off, guys. It's going to be harsh, okay? It's going to be really bad. And then the market is probably going to try and bounce with what Powell is saying. But it's going to, the market's going to price in that, and we're probably going to be back at lows. All right, the market is currently pricing, I believe it's 2 more 0.25% rate hikes, which wouldn't even bring us to 5%. So I don't know why I don't know why the market's pricing that in when, these Fed speakers have literally told us what they're going to be doing and what their expectations are. Why us, the random people in society, we're going to not listen to these guys? That makes no sense to me. All right. They are the people who are seeing all the bells and whistles and things behind the scenes. I definitely said that wrong. Either way. Yeah, they've told us, guys. They've told us what they're going to be doing. So as long as they do what they've told us, then there we go. All right. We will be seeing a hawkish Fed. But there you go. All right. So that would be how that would happen. And then you'd sell off in the 0.25 over here, after recovering. All right. And I don't think you're going to have that big of a recovery to where you overtake this. You can, but just realize if you overtake this 410 level, 410.49 here, and QQ held its triple top, right? If the Fed lets, and yes, I think it's all correlated, okay? I think the Fed does have some sort of control over the market, all right, and TA and all of this, all right? I think everything works together. Big money probably controls the Fed, all right? And the Fed, supports TA, and big money also supports TA, all right? And it creates the patterns we see on the charts, all right? But if they come back up here and break it on QQ, break that on SPY, SPX, all right, guys, this is what you're looking at. You're looking at, and I'm serious, if you do that, you're probably going to end up coming up here and coming to 421. All right. Like if Jerome has any sort of dovish comments, you're coming up here to 421. You're coming up here to 430. All right. If he ends up like not being the hawkish guy that I've been saying, like, hey, it only makes sense for him to be this hawkish guy. All right. Then there you go. If he doesn't though, that's the only case that I see you coming up here. I'll tell you right now, this is why I think like, hey, there's really no chance that he's not coming out super hawkish. And it's because any dovish comment is going to squeeze the market up to this range. And by that time, all right, now you're pushing up to here, all right? The wealth effect is going to be coming back. People are going to be saying new bull market, all right? And then once you're up here, I mean, we're going to have to see about that. But like, hey, what's to stop everyone from being super bullish over here? I'm just saying, we're right here under resistance. Jerome sees the market is doing this. He's not an idiot. He's probably thinking the same things that I've been telling you guys about. Because I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm a master of Jerome, all right? But like I have watched all the FOMC meetings, and every time he's spoken, I have watched, I have observed, and I have seen what it has done to the charts. And he is a man of reason, all right? He does not want the markets rallying. All right, so like if the markets rally and do what they were saying in the FOMC minutes not too long ago, that like that's the worst case scenario, a market rally, the worst case scenario against the fight against inflation. There you go. All right, he's not going to support this. Okay, now the market is rallying straight into a meeting where he has full control. I don't think it would make any sense for him not to be anything less than hawkish. All right. Yeah, that's that. All right. But that's why I don't think you're going to overtake this high, because then you would have the bulls having another reason to continue on the bull case. Okay. And like, I'm not saying the bull case doesn't exist. Okay. I'm saying I fully acknowledge why these people are rallying. I'm just saying it's fugazi. I'm saying it's fake. I'm saying like the Fed speakers have told us that rates are going to be above 5% and they're not cutting rates throughout 2023. So why the heck are we rallying off of that? I'm not getting mad that we're rallying off of that. I'm just like telling you guys, like, hey, the people who are buying into this rally, they're about to get the rug pulled, like complete rug pulled. All right. And you're probably going to see a rather aggressive sell-off come back down to the bottom of this consolidation in a hurry. All right. I'm not saying this happens in like 1 week, but like, hey, last time we had this, all right, you had a, within 5 trading sessions here, you had a $30 sell-off, all right? If you have, let's say you start it from 405, all right? You start 405 Wednesday, all right? You would have coming back down here into within 5 trading sessions, so 1 week of FOMC, by next Wednesday, you would be back down here, the bottom of consolidation. Doesn't have to happen. I think it's very likely that that happens, okay? This was not an FOMC. This isn't an FOMC where all eyes are on Powell. He has all control, all right? And, yeah, that's just, this is my logic. This is my reasoning. It turned out the video still is 50 minutes. I'm sorry, guys. That is that. But, yeah, guys, all right? So, I guess with that being said, I will catch you guys in the next video. There's one thing I actually do want to talk about. Bitcoin. All right, guys, I was trying to tell you guys this was the mother of all bull traps before they bring you at least back down here to this bottom. I told you guys I am looking at, I'm 100% actively looking for a bottom here. I think it's about to be put in. All right, I don't think it's in. I think we probably do come back down here. All right, because this was where this whole bull market started from, really took off from, was this resistance and this support that ended up holding. If you look on the daily time frame, this is what held before you fell off from up here. And it held before you went on an absolute massive tear. All right, now that we have that on the monthly CCI, which I remember telling you guys up here, this is what I was looking at. All right, this is exactly it. It was the monthly CCI. All right, it was also the same thing on SPY and SPX. I was saying, now I have deleted a lot of these videos, all right? Well, actually, and I've been making videos for years, guys. Not all on finance. I've had so many different channels at this point. But throughout this time, I was making videos, all right? I only started doing the daily updates when I started noticing, holy crap, my TA is actually nailing it day by day here. It's blowing my mind. It's probably going to blow other people's minds. So let me expose everybody else to what's been blowing my mind. And yeah, I mean, we just kind of kept doing it. But yeah, over on the monthly time frame, I just wasn't looking for like at all. I was not looking for a bottom until we at least came into this oversold territory on there. And now that we did this, guys, I'm still like not looking for that bottom until your weekly CCI comes back into oversold territory. And I think that is going to be the case. I think it's going to align with what the RSI did over here. I think we're probably going to get the RSI coming down to 30, and then we're probably going to get that bounce. It's going to create a bullish divergence that occurred right there. That gave us this rip right here. All right, I think that's probably going to be happening. But yeah, guys, the fact that we have a bearish engulfing candlestick on Bitcoin today is, you know, I mean, guys, we're like days away from that Fed meeting. Bitcoin runs with the market, all right, and it also falls with the market. You have bearish engulfing candle, you know, all right. Is this the first day of the sell-off from Bitcoin? Did we just see our peak, okay, before the sell-off? I think we did. All right. It doesn't have to happen. We can stay up here until that Fed meeting, but I think we just saw our peak. I don't think we're going to see another high. Oh, something that I always tell you guys about. Guys, watch the volume. All right. You're rising 3 weeks in a row here off of, you know, declining volume. I'm not going to guarantee it, but I can almost guarantee we're going to see some sort of volume spike this week because we have Fed. All right, and it's probably going to be the same way on SPY. Oh, something I also forgot to mention in this video. You've been rising off of declining volume here on SPY. This whole move here, starting from over here, it's all been off declining volume. You have not had one day test previous volume, except for that day and that day right there. But all in all, you just kept declining. All right, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a volume spike here on this first down day. But if you don't see the volume spike, maybe that does show you what I think is probable going into tomorrow, which is a bounce. Okay, I think we get that bounce going into FOMC. All right, so if we do have declining volume, it's just something that is aligning with my probable scenario. I don't think we're going to have declining volume, but yeah, all right. All right, so yeah, with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Still, like, we shaved down like 20 minutes here, but all in all, like, nah, it's still about the same. Whatever. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.